Today you will need a whiteboard, a marker, your math journal, and a pencil. On your whiteboard, I want you to write the largest number you can using the digits 0, 3, 9, and 7. You're going to use each digit only once. Pause your video. All right, to write the largest number, you're going to want to write the biggest number first, then the next biggest, then the next biggest, and finally the smallest. So 9,730. Notice these go from biggest to smallest. Which digit is in the ones place? Remember that a digit means the actual number, not what that number is worth. So which number is in the ones place? Write it on your board. You're right, 0. Which digit is in the tens place? Remember, digit just means the number. 3. And how much is that 3 worth? That means value. What is the value of that 3? Well, that 3 is in the tens place, and so that 3 is worth 30. How much is the 7 worth? Again, that is value, not digit. So what is the value of the 7? It's not just 7, it is 700. What is the smallest number you can write? Pause your video. Start with the 3, then the 0, because you can't start with 0, and then the 7, and then the 9. So we're going up, but we can't put that 0 in the ones or in the thousands place first. So we have to use the next smallest number. 3,079. On your whiteboard, I want you to skip count by 10, starting with 40 up to 100. And then I want you to down by 10, starting at 293, and I want you to go down to 203. Pause your video while you do this. This time, after you answer these two, I want you to come show Mrs. Becker. So you're going to go up by 100s to 825. I want you to count up 6 numbers. And then you're also going to go down by 100, starting at 1,864. Again, 6 numbers. So 6 numbers for each of these. Count up 6. And then I want you to come show Mrs. Becker. Pause your video. Up by 1,000, starting with 7,000. And down by 1,000, starting with 23,742. Pause your video. All right, up by 1,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. You get the picture. Down by thousands, 22,742. See how that thousands number is the one being affected? 21,742. 20,742. Notice it's always this thousandth number that gets changed and nothing else. What are counting numbers? Counting numbers are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. It's the numbers that we use to count when we count out loud. 0 is usually not considered. So we usually don't say 0, 1, 2. When we start counting, we say 1, 2, 3. All the numbers, including 0, are called whole numbers. That is all the numbers that don't have negatives, don't have decimals, and don't have fractions. They're just numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 1,000, 101, but they are not things like 102 and a half. That is not a counting number, and that is not a whole number. So is every counting number also a whole number? Write that on your board. Of course. And can you name all the digits we use to write numbers? Write all the digits that we would use to write numbers down. If you wrote all of these, you would be right. The value of a digit is determined by its place in a number. we call that place value. So if the number is 2, that is just in the ones column, so its value is 2. 20, the 2 is in the tens column, so it's 2, 0. 200, 2, 0 in the tens, 0 in the ones. 2,000, the 2 is in the thousands place, and then hundreds, tens, and then ones, and so on. This 2 would be in the 10,000s place, and this 2 would be in the 100,000s place. You're going to open your math journal to page 32, and you're going to write these numbers down. So I want you to write this number, 5,607,481, correctly on here. Once you get done with these first 5, I want you to come show Mrs. Becker. So pause your video. All right, here comes the next 5. And I want you to come show Mrs. Becker these as well. Pause your video. All right, the second part of this is talking about value. What is this worth? Well, the 5 is in the hundreds column. So I write the 5 and 2 zeros, 1 for the tens column, 1 for the ones column. That 5 is worth 500. So that 7 is in the tens column. I write the 7, and then I write 1 0 after it, 70. And then the 4 is in the ones column. I just have to write a 4. I want you to do number 2, 3, and 4, and come show Mrs. Becker. Pause your video. Now I want you to do number 5 and number 6, and show Mrs. Becker. All right, now we're going to do some adding. We want to add in columns. So I'm going to start in the furthest column, the ones column. That way, if I need to carry any information, I will be able to. 0 plus 0 is 5. 0 plus 7 is 7. And 9 plus nothing is 9. So we are saying that 975 can be written as an addition problem. 900 plus 70 plus 5 equals 975. Try number 8. And 9 and 10, and pause your video and come show Mrs. Becker your answers. I want you to try number 11. Think about why we need zeros when writing numbers. What would happen if you did not write zeros in the number 5,074? If you took that 0 out, what would happen? On page 34, we're going to review some polygon properties. I want you to place a check mark next to all the statements that are true. Just like on your test, there might be more than one, but there might not be very many, and there might be a lot. So try number 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then come check your work with Mrs. Becker. Pause your video. And then you're finally going to finish with math boxes.